We're all tired. I'm still thinking about this movie.
Okay, so anyways, hello, this is Arturelia Film Room Reviews. I'm Arturo, and today I have a crossover with my mom since Corner. Today we're going to be reviewing... We just saw this today as of this recording, though.
Yeah.
You may see this a few days after the fact.
Yeah.
But let's jump into it, shall we?
Gosh.
So the story is basically about two soldiers that are on a mission to deliver this letter to what, a corporate?
He's a colonel.
Okay, a colonel, because there's
it's some orders. It's direct orders from higher up.
Yeah, to basically stop this attack because the Germans have set a trap for this British battalion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's basically them on a mission, just these two soldiers, and one of them has a brother in that battalion. And
so there's this sense of urgency. He has a sense of urgency, definitely, more so than the other guy did.
So it's basically time's racing to get to this battalion before they launch an attack. So that's basically what the story is about.
Yep.
And so yeah, I'm not going to say any more because I think you should watch this film.
Everybody should see this film at least once. And I think it's something that people that aren't even fans of
history,
war type movies,
or just history
World
in
War
general,
One, or just any sort of historical type of movie like that, I still think that they would enjoy it because it's not your typical war movie.
I mean,
it's an adventure movie is kind of what it's about.
It's history.
Yeah, I mean, it takes place in a historical time frame, but it's not.
But it feels, yeah. So the film, it's the way it looks. The film itself, the quality,
oof,
glorious,
amazing,
and the way it was shot was basically just there was like no cut.
Well, like once or twice.
Yeah, maybe like twice, but the whole time it's all filmed in just the timeline.
It's filmed to look like that, obviously, logistically or whatever.
There's
they really
like no
didn't
cut
do it
to
like
show.
that,
Yeah,
but you can't tell.
There's like no cut to jump from this guy to that guy in another scene, like what most films do. This is basically a unique film.
Yes,
it looks good.
Very unique. I mean, certainly continuous shot films have been done before, but they're pretty rare. Birdman was done before, and there was also another movie that I just saw that they were referencing that had been done like a continuous looking shot. But this one was specifically unique in the fact that it was a war movie.
Yeah.
So there's all this action and stuff that has to happen. It's not just people talking and walking around. There's stuff blowing up, people getting shot at.
And and the camera would turn around and there's something else happening.
360-degree turn it would do, and
so a lot of stuff going on, and that's what was actually very unique about the film. And yeah, it looked good. I didn't really have any issues with the editing whatsoever. It looked spot on.
It was some of the best filmmaking I've seen in a while,
editing.
as far as the technical aspect of filmmaking, cinematography and stuff like that. It was so good.
I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had some good looks, but this I think would
well, like I said, this has overtaken Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
The characters are interesting, so they have some backstory to them instead of just no character backgrounds. Like Dunkirk didn't really have that. They basically just threw you into what was going on through their perspective. This is the same thing, but you get more understanding of the characters.
You feel more involved with the characters, at least I did anyway.
And it feels like you're there with them through the trenches, through the barbed wires.
Feels a little claustrophobic at times because you're like, they're in the walls are all around them, and there's a dark place, and everything's so close,
Yeah.
And you get really tense during certain moments, and I expected anything to happen at any moment because, but sometimes things wouldn't happen like how I thought. So I was going into this with the mindset of the typical way films are shot and thinking
that's what I was no, then I heard it was kind of like you're there with them, so I was thinking so it's going to be a type of film that's kind of like, well, when did I find out that it was just no cuts at all?
Well, I didn't know, like when I first saw the trailer a few several weeks back, I did a reaction review to it on my channel. I had no clue. Yeah. I didn't know until right around the time it came out, or right before it came out, that it was shot as a continuous take sort of deal. So at first I was like, oh. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it.
Oh no, it was well done.
But yeah, it was so good.
As for our enjoyment, well, I mean, I like history, so obviously I was gonna like this film, but the way it was done was excellent.
Oh yeah, I was hoping Wonder Woman could come and save them though.
Yeah, I mean, I personally enjoyed it. For some reason, I wasn't as well, I'm gonna quote my sister. Wasn't as tenseful.
Yeah.
As
Jesus, this is tenseful. when she went to go see it a few days ago.
Like, for some reason, I don't know, like, I was kind of expecting where the plot was going to go. I don't know, I was just, like, trying to pinpoint everything that I was seeing throughout the film as the film was playing.
You mean, like, trying to predict
how things were gonna happen? No, it was more of just, like, seeing what was in the background, what was, like, the surroundings, and since it was an ongoing take with no cuts or anything. And, I mean, I personally enjoyed it. I just, for some reason, wasn't tense.
Oh, I was tense during some of the moments. Like, well...
I mean, I kind of had
the trailer, water scene made me really tense and short of breath.
The trailer kind of gave some of it away. I probably should... If I didn't see the trailer, maybe I would not have, like...
Well...
But...
The music
also,
Mm-hmm. That really, like, builds the suspense, and you start to feel, like, kind of...
Yeah.
Like a little short of breath.
Also, we don't really get a lot of good World War I films.
Yeah.
We've had them. Wonder Woman, I guess, but that's a DC hero.
But yeah, a lot of films seem to take... A lot of old war films seem to be centered around World War II.
Because that was the second thing that ended up happening. Yeah. And that was more of a victory.
And World War I was just kind of like...
no point.
I don't know.
It's like people wanted to start something.
Yeah. But... You just... also, a lot of people aren't as familiar with World War I as they are with the whole stuff, about World War II.
This film, with its plot, there at least is one... Well,
this movie is not really...
victory. It's more about
his story,
achieving the goal of bringing a message.
Exactly. So that's what I sort of meant when I said it's like more like an adventure story, as opposed to a war story.
I mean, there is a war.
There's a war, but it's like an adventure story, a journey taking place on the backdrop of this war landscape. And so he's got this dangerous territory to navigate through. And something that I had read that the director... So there were some pretty big name actors in here. You see Benedict Cumberbatch, and you see Colin Firth. And then the dude that it showed, the brother, he is not huge, but people will recognize him from Game of Thrones. Just like the kid who played his kid brother. Yeah. He's also from Game of Thrones. But the director specifically said, and so this is not really any, like, a secret, he specifically did not cast big name actors as the two lead roles,
and
because
to be honest, it's more understandable because it's kind of more of these young rookies.
Benedict Cumberbatch wouldn't have looked right in the role as these two, because they were younger guys. They're fairly unknown people, but I recognize them because I've seen them before, both of them. But they did a great job. Yeah. They both did an excellent job.
Acting was really well done.
Yes.
And that's why, I mean, I personally enjoyed it, and I just like how unique this film was.
It's so unique, and it just really pulls you in, and it puts you right there in there with him, and you just are feeling, and you feel his emotion. Or identify with it. I certainly did. All this different stuff he's going through, and it's heart-wrenching.
Like, I mean, it kind of has some action to it, but it's mostly just
quite a bit of action to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not nonstop. But
but it's more of just like getting to the, like, sometimes there are scenes where it just kind of, it's dragging on until it gets to that point.
But it's building suspense. There are a lot of slow burn type feels during different parts of this movie, because there's a lot of stuff. They're just like walking. They're going through. They're journeying along, and nothing is happening. But you know it's going to.
Yeah.
You know they're going to run into something because of the area where they are, and then the music will start, and then it just builds and builds and builds and builds.
That's how I felt about Dunkirk a little bit. Like, it kind of made it tenseful with the music, sort of. Yeah, tenseful. I mean, you're quoting my sister.
That's not even a word, but I love it.
Yeah.
Tenseful.
So, 1917. A very unique film.
Unique and excellent, and should be viewed by everyone at least once. I'm definitely going to be adding this to my DVD collection.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave Joker a 10.
And I gave it a 9.
And you gave it a 9. I gave it a 10 just for its very profound emotional impact that it had on me. And also because of how obsessed I became. Like, I couldn't get it out of my brain. And I went back, like, multiple times. I saw it 4 times in the theaters. And so I gave it a 10 for that. Mm-hmm. So for 1917, it was quite emotionally impactful for me as well, except a different way. Because it was like a bigger story. Like Joker was about this one person and his struggles, and this was about it involved these two guys,
people,
but there was a bigger picture. He had this very important message he needed to deliver, or thousands of men, hundreds of men were going to die. So it was like a sort of a bit of a broader scope as far as the emotional impact.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different, but I would still personally give this a 10.
I guess maybe it could be in the same level as Joker, maybe like a 9. Now maybe my mind will change later. Maybe I'll give them a higher rating, or at least this film a higher rating.
Yeah, certainly time can change things.
Maybe a 9.5. Who knows? Oh no, now I feel like I might want to give it a 10. Now for my recommendations for, I guess, World War One. Well, if you want a different version of that with superheroes, Wonder Woman.
Well, Wonder Woman. I think also there was a book I had to read in high school. I hated it and I didn't like the movie, but it was called All Quiet on the Western Front. I believe that took place in World War One, and it was told from the perspective of a German soldier, a young German soldier. I couldn't tell you now who wrote that book.
Did they make a movie?
I hate it. Yes, they did. That's why I mention it. The guy who played in there, he played in the original TV show.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember we watched that in high school, and I didn't like it just because I wasn't crazy about
war films,
especially World War One films. But I'm trying to think of any other World War One.
Well, there's also The King's Man, which is set during World War One.
Yeah. But just set during, it's not really like in
but
the
it's
midst
during.
Of...
I mean, yeah.
But dang,
know.
Really, honestly, I know
it's
there are
World War
some,
II films that I.
Yeah.
I mean, well, there's World War II films if you want to go find. I mean, I guess if you want a similar thing, I mean, it's not World War One. If you want a similar thing that is both tense and time's clicking, but it's not as good as this, there's Dunkirk, which is set during World War II.
Yeah.
That film, well, I'll have a review for that. Like
another movie, Fury. It's World War II, but
tanks.
Yeah.
Well, this is Arturelia Film Room Review signing off, and Sin's Corner. You can find her channel right here.
Yes, down there.
Right
and when I put this on my channel, I'll put your link down there too.
She's stealing it. She's pirating it.
No, we're both.
You owe me $50 because I'm the one gonna get carpal tunnel for editing.
Oh, it's not gonna take that long to edit, is it?
I mean, think of the damage.
Oh my goodness.
She needs to understand.